So, today is Pancake Day. What is Pancake Day, you might ask? Well, you might know it by one of these other names, Shrove Tuesday, Fat Tuesday, or Mardi Gras. Yes, it's the day in the religious calendar where you would eat up your feast foods before fasting for 40 days of Lent. And feast food in this particular case would be things like egg and sugar, and the eggs especially, maybe milk, which you would want to not have going off, I suppose. I don't know what you'd then do, I suppose go and whip yourself in the desert or some madness like that. But I love Pancake Day. I grew up and we always had pancakes. My mum and dad would always make them, and they would typically be English style, which is thin, with more like a French crepe, with just sugar on top and a squirt of lemon juice from a lemon. And I love them, and now, of course, luckily, my son also loves them, so we have pancakes every Pancake Day and thoroughly enjoy them. But that's not to say we don't get mocked just a little bit by Americans and their pancakes. They're big, fluffy, thick things with, I don't know, banana and Nutella and maple syrup and cream and ice cream and anything, and sprinkles and anything else you want to put on it, and which are also very good. Don't get me wrong, but I like the ones that we make, and so does my son. And of course, I thought I wanted to have a cocktail that you would drink on such a day. And I originally went for, the other big thing that happens at this time is Carnival in Brazil. So I stuck on some Gal Costa, playing in the background, a very risque cover there. It was banned by the Brazilian junta in 1973 when it was released. I thought, well, I'm in America, and if there's one city that is synonymous with the idea of Mardi Gras as it's celebrated here, that city would be New Orleans. And there is also one cocktail that is really synonymous with New Orleans, and that cocktail is the Sazerac, which we're going to make today. Originally, it would have been a cognac cocktail. It's a fairly simple drink in its original iteration, just the liquor, Peychaud's bitters, and some sugar, and absinthe or some equivalent. And unfortunately, over time, cognac got harder to get hold of, so it morphed into a different cocktail with rye whiskey instead. Now, both of those are great. I tried them, both good, but I came across a cocktail made by Simon Difford, and his version is one that I really liked. I tried it, I think it's worth it, and that's the one that we're going to make today. There's a couple of steps, but you do wind up with 2 drinks out of this one, so hey, it can't be all bad, can it? The first thing to do is to get your absinthe, and you need, there's a lot of thirds of ounces here, by the way, a third of an ounce of absinthe that you pour into a glass that's already filled with ice. That's going to be the glass for your drink. You also put 1.5 or 2 ounces of water in there. I'm just going to put 1.5 ounces, and you'll see why in a little bit. Then we get our mixing glass and we start with the other ingredients of this drink. First is the cognac. I'm using Courvoisier VSOP, and I'm going to put in 2/3 of an ounce of that, like so. And then some bourbon. I'm going to put in Evan Williams Bottled in Bond. It's a fairly inexpensive whiskey, but it is quite good. 2/3 of an ounce of that, like so. And the final spirit to go in is going to be rye whiskey, a nod to how those drinks did evolve. This drink did evolve in New Orleans over time. Another 2/3 of an ounce of my favourite Dickel rye whiskey. Measuring it out takes a careful eye, and you've got to get the proportions right, but that's all a good thing. And then bitters. I'm going to put in some standard Angostura bitters, 1 dash of that, but it wouldn't be complete without the bitters that were invented in New Orleans, and that's Peychaud's bitters, and it will add to it a really distinctive red colour, very bright red this is. You want 3 dashes of that, and then finally, you need something sweetener. I'm putting some rich sugar syrup, and as opposed to simple syrup, which is 50-50 water and sugar, the rich syrup is 2-to-1 sugar to water, so it's sort of thicker and and well, obviously sweeter. And that takes 1/3 of an ounce of that as well. We are going to give that a brisk stir, and oh, it should dance a mamba or something, though. You don't want to see me doing that, even in a shirt like this. Oh, maybe you do. Maybe that'd get you a few clicks and likes. But I don't think we need that today. And you just stir this until it's nice and chilled, which actually is pretty much now. And then to get this second drink I mentioned, instead of you're supposed to just throw away the absinthe and ice and water that have been rinsing your glass, but if you instead strain the drink into a glass, you kind of wind up with a kind of nice accompaniment sort of shooter, but it's really just a nice sipping drink as well. If you don't have absinthe, you could probably use something like Ricard or Pernod, some sort of pastis like that, but absinthe if you can. And we are just going to strain the drink into our absinthe rinsed glass, and that colour is just amazing. It really goes with my shirt, I have to say. And the only last thing to go with it is a twist of lemon. Difford's guide says, and you press the oil into the drink. Difford's guide says not to put the peel in there. He wants to have a piece of peel stuck in the teeth, but actually I kind of like how that looks, so I'm going to do it, but that's your choice, obviously. Okay, let's see what we've got. That is carnival in a glass. Cheers.